boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
We got London on the track.
I should've known better. Can't even pretend like I don't want it again. On the brain all the time. Thinking about the things that we did. You did something.
This was my joint. Come through.
It's the way you
and who's it with? That Usher. You know, tempting and titillating. Shout out to Summer Walker and Usher. You are checking out Hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Rocking out with you. I have my contributor, Trent the Artist, on deck. We're going to get into a bunch more stories and trending topics and headlines. We also have our Tubi movie review coming up later. And you know, the third hour is the after hours spot.
Yes,
it is
totally.
When the VIP ropes come down and things get a little different behind the velvet rope. So we're going to get into all of those things. First up, now, I don't know if you've seen video from this, but there was a race that took place over the weekend, and social media users are outraged. They are in a tizzy. They feel that an egregious violation has taken place. Somalia's female athlete that was put forth to participate in the 100 meters at the FISU 2023 World University Games. She didn't do so well. Her time, and her name is Nasara Ali Akbar. She ran 21.81, finishing 10 seconds behind the last runner of her group, right? She did not look like she was trained in the art of sprinting. She did not have what most would consider a sprinter's physique. Doesn't mean that you have to necessarily look a certain way, but we are accustomed when we are seeing higher level professional athletes, especially in a sport like track, a different body type than what this young lady displayed. And some are saying that the reason why she was selected with no experience or training, allegedly, in the 100 meters is because she is related to a member of the Ministry of Youth and Sport in Somalia, and the president of Somalia Athletics is her uncle, and she wanted to take a nice vacation. What are your thoughts about, would you go out against professional athletes
and get dusted
in front of everybody,
the globe just to go on a trip,
just to take a trip? Is that the type of foolishness that you would involve yourself in?
I make too much money to ever even think of anything like that. That is absurd. And my uncle, who has paid for me to go on trips before, has not put me in anything. Shout out to my uncle Dwayne, has not put me in anything that absurd to where I had to be that outrageous on a trip. No. The answer is no. I love nepotism for black people.
I do.
I'm here for that part of it.
Absolutely.
But don't make a fool of me in the process.
She walked up and I was like, in my mind, right? In my mind, I was like, oh, she's about to come with some stuff because one of these things does not fit. She did not. And it was really obvious.
It got winded. Yes, I love it.
It was really obvious.
Oh, where's the video?
The video is online. Did I retweet it? I will find it and I will put it on my Twitter at Stiletto Jill for you guys to check out. She didn't even get in the blocks correctly. You know how you line up and get in the blocks and you see them like perfectly placing their fingers in the line so that there's no fault called or anything like that.
So she didn't even do a YouTube tutorial video to even fake it.
Listen, I don't think so.
Come on, she has got to be come on, y'all got the internet, y'all got YouTube and Google. Y'all can fake this a little bit better. Y'all are disappointing me in this. Now, y'all supposed to be the scammer generation. What y'all out here doing?
Listen, the Somali Minister of Youth and Sports apologized.
And from Somalia?
From the performance.
That's where the scammers come from.
They said that they understand that they embarrassed the country. And her uncle, he was suspended. So I'm going to retweet this, you guys. Hit up Stiletto Jill on Twitter if you want to check out the race. Like, she didn't even have her head position retained correctly.
I hope she enjoyed her trip.
Listen, I hope so, too.
She's got a lot of pictures and video.
You got to look at her form, though. You just got... And the girl that won smoked it.
Yeah.
Smoked
She
her.
was probably like, what is this? This is light work.
Listen.
These Somalians can't be serious.
And there it is. But go check that out. It's quite entertaining. So, next up, Sukiyana has been in the news over the past few weeks. First, there was the situation with OK Osiris where he kissed her, uninvited, and there were questions about whether her past behavior invited her to be subjected to those type of situations. We also saw her meeting up with Dr. Umar in her more conservative look, as Trent just slid his phone over to me with her in the photo with him to remind me of such. We saw her out in London twerking, talking about she wanted somebody to eat her cupcake. And
she was singing the lyrics to Pound Town.
The tourists were shocked.
Appalled.
Listen. But recently, the Shade Room unearthed a video that she made several years ago where she discussed how affected she was being placed in this, special needs class in school, the slow class. I'm serious. She talked about how it impacted herself. Why?
I don't mean to laugh. Like, I was trying to hold that together for the longest. But listen, girl, are you kidding? Come on. I'm sorry. This is your show and this is your story, not mine. Let me be quiet because.
But I want to hear the commentary. They posted the video and she was talking about how she was made fun of, how it impacted her self-esteem, and how she believes that they should not separate children that are behind the learning curve out from regular students because it does something to them and it takes a beating on their esteem and their thoughts. This is not funny, Trent. That is not right that you are laughing.
I'm trying to hold it together because there's a whole conversation in my head that I'm like, wait.
And we're going to have it.
Because she can't be serious with this.
She's very serious. It was an old video, before she was at the level that she is now, but it was a very serious video. When we come forward, I will let you know what Sukiyana's response was to this video being posted and what she has to say. Because here's the thing, and the reason why I picked this topic, I know you're wondering, and it's not to make fun of her or to laugh, although we see the built-in comedy in the subject. The point is her behavior, some of the things that she does, right? The type of women that are taking to social media. You see someone like Krishan Rock that's out there, right? Having some questionable behavior. And it just begs the question, is that a part of the explanation as to why we're at where we're at as far as decorum and tact and sort of knowing time and place as it comes to vulgarity? So to speak. We'll get into more of that. We'll hear Trent's thoughts on this topic. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
K-Drip.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Remember, if you have any commentary on the topics that we are discussing this evening, you can hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. You can hit me up at Stiletto Jill. You can hit up Trent the Artist. Or you can call in 800-920-1580. So I said that before we came forward, we were going to share with you Sukiana's reaction to this old video of her being posted discussing how she used to be teased when she was younger because she was in the special classes. She said, "What made y'all post this? It's old, but since I'm the topic today, the story is someone was making fun of me for being in the special classes. And I remember how hard it was for me in elementary and middle school. I actually embrace it now because I knew I would always be a star. And I knew I was special and creative, funny, and an elephant in most rooms I walked through. I was expressing that it was hard and depressing having to walk through the hallways in a smaller group because kids always made fun of us. We had to sit at different tables in the lunchroom, and I felt like that hurt our people's skills and learning to make friends. Instead of finding out the real issues, they just gave us medication, and that did nothing but take my creativity away and made me depressed. At 9 years old, I was getting medicated. The thing is, it's not a problem, and having ADHD is not a flaw. We are so special. Most people with ADHD are very successful business owners with freelance careers as well. People with ADHD have special strengths because of our brains functioning differently. I personally know a lot of y'all are hiding who really are and have felt what I felt, but you're just not ready to embrace it, and that's okay. The same people making fun of me in these comments are the same ones that have probably been through it. Please remember, I write my own checks, no matter how ghetto you think I am, and I am now a successful businesswoman, TV star, and comedian. During my childhood, learning was hard, but being left-handed was hard too. And the teachers were there to help us and teaching us how to use our right hand too. I just feel like children, in order to keep their confidence up in school and avoid bullying, they should be put more teachers in classrooms instead of singling them out. Everybody isn't born regular. Y'all have the day you deserve. So, what are your thoughts on that, Trent?
After hearing her response, I wasn't really laughing at her disability. It is it's something that does mess with your self-esteem. Totally. However, I'm I've always been this way, but I think that in difficult situations where people are teasing you, it prepares you for what you will encounter at some point in your life. I was a person that was teased heavily for, my weight and for being gay in school, but it prepared me for everything that I was going to face on the internet with these internet trolls and in the parking lot or, wherever. So it prepared me for that, to have thick skin, because listen, kids are brutal.
They are.
At the same time, not knowing, I can't really speak on it because I've never been in that situation 100%. I was the person in gifted classes, you know what I'm saying? But even in gifted classes, we were made fun of by people that were not in those classes.
Nerd, square, etc.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it kind of goes both ways, but even that, it prepared me for where I'm at today, just like it prepared her, obviously. But in that case, I would have much rather have been in that small group of, people that were my peers, that were like me, versus being in a larger general, population class where I'm also getting teased for being the smart one in the class or being teased for not being the smart one in class. You're gonna get it anywhere you go,
right?
Everywhere you go. So there's no way around it. And unfortunately, at 9 and at 10, we don't know that. It's all in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? So
you have to go through it to grow through it. Pretty Brown Mimi says, as a black woman, I shouldn't say this, but when did having some shame stop? It's crazy we've gone from classy to Tatianas.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is the dichotomy of, sexual liberation, especially when it concerns black women, and you think about that, because I've always said that, white women are allowed to have a wilding out period, so to speak. They are allowed to say, oh yeah, I went to college and, I was down in Cancun flashing my breasts and I totally went backpacking through Europe and slept
made out with
5
all the
guys.
girls.
Exactly. Guys and girls, whatever.
Yes.
And then they come back and they, get married, have 2.5 kids and have a nice life and, go into government or something. And no one thinks anything of it. But with black women, I mean, and we see with pop stars, Miley Cyrus had her moment where she got into the urban arena, although her songs with Mike Will were kind of slapping. That's a different topic. But, and then she moved on from it, but we tend to leave these labels hanging on black women. It starts earlier and seems to last for much longer, and it's not allowed to just be considered a phase or something that they go through, just to kind of learn about yourself and to grow. Because I think for most women, I mean, obviously there are exceptions, but for most people in general, there is a point in life where you may not be the person that you are as an adult. You're trying things on, you're figuring out your likes and dislikes. So
Absolutely. And excuse me. And this is just for, I think, black people in general. I think because we have to carry ourselves in a certain way most of the time, and we have to be kind of restricted and, present well, not to, maintain a level of class wherever we go. When I think that because we live in a society now that's completely a little bit more open, we're going to be more exploratory and more open because we are so tired of being confined in the box that we've been placed in. So I get both sides.
Yeah, I do as well. I understand the need and the desire for more order and what a more conservative image, for lack of a better term. I understand the respect that garners from people. I understand why some may feel it looks more professional or things like that. So again, I understand both sides, and I think that there is grace that needs to be given. But I do, when you see Suki over in London, though, being a little vulgar with people that are just like, hey, I'm just here to look at Big Ben. It's funny, but at the same time, it's a little cringeworthy as well.
And foolish.
So.
Yeah. How old is she? Is she in her 20s?
She is, I believe so. She's fairly young.
So, you know what? I was completely reckless in my 20s, loud and crazy and just passing out on the corner of Adams and Vermont after, drinking Patron margaritas at La Barca. Oh, yeah. Listen, so I get it. And completely trashless and tacky, but it happens. And then you mature.
And you go on.
And you're boring.
I just think that, I understand the concerns about it. I understand what it looks like. And I understand sometimes the situations that it can put people in when people perceive you as something else.
We've all been 20 before.
Right. But I do think that there should be some grace allowed. And I know it's harder with the internet and social media and things don't, you can't just go in your corner, live your life and just say, man, when I was 20.
Right.
Oh boy.
It's because it's 20 of the time. So this is what we're getting. See, we didn't have all these things to expose us. And because, listen, if you grew up in the 70s, 80s, listen, up until literally the 90s, really, it was some wild times out there, and you had some fun, some real big fun in Baltimore. Okay,
big fun with the wretched.
Listen,
all right,
just wasn't on cameras to tell about it.
And that is why some of these people, the reality is, to a degree, not all of them, they could get some of that back. All they have to do is put their phone down.
Yes.
But
and don't post anything. It's literally it.
You could get some of that anonymity back, but we'll see if it happens. So, talked a little bit about this last night, about Lizzo and the allegations that have been levied against her. Well, Sophia Nai Allison, she directed a short film in 2019, A Love Song for Latasha. It was nominated for an Oscar as a Best Documentary Short Film. She revealed on social media following the announcement of the allegations of harassment and improper behavior that she didn't have too great of an experience with Lizzo herself. She's not involved in the suit of the trio of former dancers, but she was just kind of speaking out about her personal experience. She said, I usually do not comment on anything pop culture related. But in 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after about 2 weeks. I was treated with such disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant and unkind she is. I was not protected and was thrown into a messy situation with little support. My spirit said to run as fast as you can, and I'm so grateful I trusted my gut. I felt gaslit and I was deeply hurt, but I've healed. So my question to you is, do you think that any of this could be misconstrued by what was happening in some of these scenarios? And also, as a follow-up, do you think that it's smart that the lawyer, I guess, for the trio and all these people, obviously when something is revealed, everyone feels safe to come out with their stories. But do you feel like it's a smart strategy to go all in on social media and try and get your message out?
Yes, excuse me. Yes and no, because social media is documentation. They are definitely going to pull social media and litigation and depositions. FYI, if you guys have social media, if you ever become involved in a lawsuit anytime, no matter how small it is, they will pull that because it's like word is bond in that situation. The world of celebrity is very intense, and the thing about, I think I said this last week when I was here, is that celebrities are nothing more than people. Celebrities are nothing more than people. We've got to stop putting people on a pedestal, because guess what? People are going to people, no matter what. I'll never forget in my 20s when I was doing college radio, Wendy Williams told me never to be friends with the people that I idolize, because they will always let you down. She said that to me, and I heard her, and in so many words, she was like saying, don't be friends with me. Okay. But I never forgot that advice, and it took me a long time to get it, because I've made friends with a couple of people that I idolized, and it turned out to be not so good. So it was advice that was solid, that I will always appreciate, and it has really kind of made me think about the way that I interact with celebrities moving forward, because they are just people. The second part of that is people are always going to be found out. So if you're a nasty person, if you're a mean person, whatever, whoever you are, it's always going to come out in the wash. People will always going to jump on the bandwagon, whether it's good or bad. So for instance, something happens to me. You're going to hear these stories come out about what kind of person I really am. And it's, and it's just because that's what people do. They're not going to, they're going to jump on the opportunity to say stuff. What you see is what you get. People know what kind of person I am. I'm nice until I'm not. That's most people, right? So the truth is going to come out. And unfortunately, with Lizzo, she's not a nice person, because people are not going to make up a lie in a lawsuit, number one, just for attention. And number two, a person who's no longer attached to your project that's still like working, they're not going to tarnish their reputation by talking about you in a disparaging manner that's going to possibly not get them work in the future.
All right. Well, we have Mimi from Jacksonville on the line.
I love when she calls.
Hello, Mimi. What do you have to add to RSVP this evening?
Hi, Jill. Hi, Trent.
Hello.
Okay. I just want to say this. This whole Lizzo thing, it's very shocking, because she comes across as just a positive, bubbly person. But I'll just say, if she lives an eyes wide shut lifestyle, that's fine on life. But I think the issue for me is, if it's true, to bring other people into your life and force them to participate, basically your employees, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yes. It is, and keeping an inappropriate environment. When we come forward, we will have more on this story. We're also going to talk Summer Walker and Lil Meech and their breakup and how that all went down, and ask a privacy question. All that and more. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
You made me wanna replay all of the things that you and me went through. Look at what you made me wanna do. I drop on my for you. Got my feelings running on the loose. This ain't what I'm really used to. You make me for anything happens between.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. There's new hope that the U.S. may soon get some information about a Black Texas soldier who was captured when he crossed into North Korea. The State Department has reached out to the reclusive nation to get an update. For the first time, North Korea has responded, but they did not give an update. There's fear that Private Travis King is being tortured. He was in the process of being shipped back to El Paso's Fort Bliss when he slipped away from the airport and made a dash across the border. And supporters of former President Donald Trump are being asked for donations to help fight off what the the Trump campaign is calling the left's witch hunts. One day after Trump was indicted for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election, his campaign sent out emails claiming the former president could face up to 561 years in prison because of the, quote, corrupt DOJ. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Life moves fast. Your car shouldn't. Keep neighbors safe. Drive like your friends or family live there. Better slow than sorry. Go safely, California, from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
What does access mean?
Access means owning a home.
Access means growing my business.
Access means building generational wealth.
No matter your goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Programs and initiatives provide the tools and resources to help you reach them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
My favorite.
Oh, this sounds like boo activities. Andy, are you in love? You seem like you've been feeling love tonight. It's been an infusion of love in all of the songs on the playlist. Everything selected out. You were checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I am joined by Trent Jackson, Trent the artist. And before we get off Lizzo and get on to Summer Walker and Lil Meech, I just want to mention that, of course, old interviews are surfacing. And so there's an interview that Lizzo did a couple of years back where she was in Amsterdam and was talking about her love of bananas and potassium and that she had a good time going out. So, I don't know, to your point, that's out there. So anyway, we mentioned Summer Walker and Lil Meech. Well, Summer Walker put up on Instagram a couple days ago some messages that were concerning to fans that seemed to indicate that she had broken up with her boyfriend, Lil Meech. Demetrius Fleurnoy. His dad is Big Meech, one of the founders of BMF, a notorious, I guess they started in Detroit, but worldwide crew that dealt in street pharmaceuticals and entertainment, amongst other things. They have a show that airs on Stars currently about their life that 50 Cent produces. So the two have hooked up and we're dating. And all of a sudden, Summer started alluding to the fact that things weren't going so well in paradise. Well, we quickly found out why. A video someone released, and it was random as hell. Someone caught Meech going to and coming out of a young lady's apartment on their Ring camera and decided to post it to the internet. So Meech immediately came back and said, you know, that was my cousin. I was just helping her bring groceries into the house. We can't do that. Although there were no groceries, you know. So whatever they were doing, whatever the situation was spotted through a Ring camera and uploaded online. Summer, you know, basically alluded to the fact that she tried to stay down. She tried to be with the cheater. She couldn't do it. She said she tried to be like Jada Waiter, who's another influencer, but she couldn't handle it. So after Meech put out his video, Summer followed up and said, it's crazy how a man will really try to pursue the hell, I'm changing some of the words, out of you for 2 years, make you meet their whole family, want to be around you and your kids all day, pay bills just to embarrass you. I don't understand, man, but I'm going to give it to God. So my question for you is, Summer, who has, I believe, is it 2 children or 3? I think it's 3. 2 baby daddies, London on the Track, the producer, and most recently, and now she is with Meech. And she said she's the type of woman that if she catches you once, she's like, okay, anything else you want to tell me? I'm going to let it slide because we're having this conversation open in dialogue. And she got embarrassed. Do you think a bigger part of the problem is a young lady who seems to have no problem moving on, but getting really involved in her relationships when she's in it? Should she stop sharing all of that with social media? Every peak and valley. What are your thoughts, Trent?
I think that she should, number one, heal herself before jumping into another relationship with another high profile person. It doesn't really have much to do with what you share on socials. If you have a solid relationship, then, it's solid. It doesn't matter how many pictures or whatever you post. But if you're jumping from one relationship to another, you got a newborn baby and you've got you've got to start looking at the common denominator. And it might be these guys, but it's also, we have to be responsible for what we attract and what we bring into our energy. And I'm not saying that she should be with a cheater. I'm not saying that that's cool. But if you know something about somebody, like I said earlier, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. So at a certain point, you got to walk away. And it seems like that she has exceeded the limit of walking. So good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her. But let's also make better choices too.
So, what I found funny, interesting is Meech seemed to have no remorse and definitely took it to social.
But most 20-year-old men don't have any remorse in dating.
So here's my thing. Do you think that, because I think when we say things like that, right? Not saying, listen, I understand men are going to run through and get what they can. They are carnal and what have you. But when you reduce it down to they're going to say whatever, they don't feel whatever, it's almost as if we're saying that they're robotic, that they don't have feelings, that none of the activities that they participate in ever impact them. And I don't think that's true. I know that we're obviously socialized to believe that he don't love them so's. And, women have taken on that sort of moniker now and badge it up. But do you think that we do ourselves a disservice when we automatically assume, even if we know that they probably didn't care in the moment, but that we assume that they don't have any feelings, that they're never impacted by the decisions and all the cheating and back and forth and drama?
Sure, men are affected by it, and sure, we have emotions. Will you know right away up front? You won't, but they're there. You might not get them or have them expressed, but they're there.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because here's the thing: men weren't, especially black men, we were taught to suppress our emotions from the get-go.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get too many emotional black men to be, honest and vulnerable with you off rip. That takes time.
I mean, because I just think that it's unrealistic to think that they are never impacted by the hurt that they dish out to women, even if they do it sometimes repeatedly. I just,
there's always a reckoning. And you don't particularly see it, but there is a reckoning. And guys definitely do think about it. It's usually private. We don't ever see it, but
you have that moment with your pillow,
or in a closed setting for sure.
Chopped onions.
Yeah, those moments do happen.
They definitely do happen. I also think that to your point, do you think that we will go back to a time where, because we've talked about it within the music, that men used to get their emotions out through R&B records maybe, and we're not currently at that time period. Rappers express a lot of emotions, and it deals with a lot of mental anxiety or whatever. Again, I don't know if we're over-diagnosing mental conditions. I mean, we're obviously in a state where...
I don't think we talk about them enough. That's what we're seeing. Okay. We suppress them, and so now everyone wants to vomit everywhere and have all these, it's my feelings. No, it's my feelings. What's up? Because, we never had a proper space. None of us have as black people to really be open and expressive and vulnerable.
Okay.
So now that we're coming into an age, of Aquarius and enlightenment, these things are starting to happen.
And
we're awakening.
But do you think that everyone that makes those claims that it is some type of, mental trauma or things of that nature? Because I think too, sometimes there's a thing is just sometimes two people just don't connect. Sometimes they're maybe not meant for each other. Sometimes their personality traits, like, it may seem good on the surface, but once you start digging into it, we're not a match. And it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's not that there's something wrong with me. We just don't really connect in that manner? I'll get your answer to that when we come forward. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Carson, get back!
Hey, I am Jasmine Carson, LSU Women's Basketball National Champion. I had to up my game, and it's time I up my intimate grooming routine too. Venus for Pubic Hair and Skin is the only razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area. Featuring a razor with a patented irritation defense bar and a skincare regimen that is dermatologist tested, Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Visit GilletteVenus.com to learn more about the full regimen of products.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey VIPs, welcome forward. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now Trent, our Keep It Real friend, you were just about to impart some wisdom before we came forward.
What are we talking about?
We were talking about Summer Walker.
Yeah.
And Lil Meech.
I remember that
and
part.
about men.
Yes.
And their intimacy and releasing it.
Yep.
And whether or not they really feel those emotions deep inside.
Yeah, they do. I forgot what I was going to expound on after that, but I thought that was pretty much it.
Okay, well, I put a pin in you, so
yeah,
we'll swing back around to it.
It'll come
Pretty
up.
Brown Mimi in the chat says, like I said earlier, why are narcissists great lovers? Perhaps Little Meech is talented in the bedroom.
Oh, she just reminded me of my point. I love her. Thank you for that, Mimi. I was just gonna say maybe their relation or their connection was physical, and that's how they connected, and maybe thought that they could build something on their physical connection. Most 20-year-olds think like that. Oh, we have great physical chemistry. Maybe this can work in other areas, and a lot of times it doesn't.
I mean, I agree with you on that, but do you think that now, again, as a symptom of social media, that we're too quick to call something degenerate behavior or a red flag when it could just be, we don't match. We don't like the same thing, and it's no harm. No, I mean, something might have been, upsetting, but not really to the degree that people make it out to be.
Considering the young man's pedigree.
I'm talking in general. I'm not talking
Okay.
specifically
Well, you
about
said,
Lil Meech.
well, somebody's the degenerate word. So you said the internet said that. So I could see how someone could presume that based on his pedigree.
Okay. All right. Well, we can get more into this topic at a later date. People love delving into the whys and what have yous of relationships, especially celebrity ones.
Yes.
But we have a Tubi movie to discuss.
Yeah.
And so the recommendation for this week was He Played Me Part 1.
Yes.
I should state that this is based on a book.
Meech played Summer Walker, Part 1.
I'm listen and rolls right into it. And it is the book is based on the author's real life. I gotta say,
Drama. I thought that my stuff was based on some real life stuff, baby. She got me beat. That's why she's writing books and doing movies.
I was not ready. Trent, what were your thoughts from what you checked out?
The start of the movie was very slow for me. It was watching a Caucasian movie. Sometimes that mainstream movies, they take forever to get to. It's just explaining all this stuff. It's like, do I really need to know that? Do I need 50 whole seconds of music and sitting on the couch with just nothing and just I needed to move quicker. But when it did finally pick up, it was like, oh, okay, this is all right. But man, she got a cold setup.
So let me give you the setup of the film really quickly. There's a young lady. She works at a bank as a loan officer, I assume. She's married. Her husband is a mechanic. He's an alcoholic. They're having problems because they work different hours. He is drunk, going through things, not being there for her. She's sexually frustrated. And she ends up connecting with a young woman as friends. They were enemies at work, but they catch up with each other one night. The woman is upset. She said that she was upset because she's married. Her husband would be coming home soon, and she had to let go of a good man who was her side dude. The women form a friendship. The friendship develops into more. And, I'm trying to debate how much I want to give away in case you guys want to check it out.
You know what? You can say this. It's a very plausible scheme, and especially if you live in a very, tight-knit community, right? About the tangled webs we weave, we never know who's who, and that's why you always gotta, investigate while also treating people with respect, because we're all connected one way or another.
And you never know how those things are gonna pop up, and you gotta put a little more effort into when you first meet somebody. That's what we'll say about that.
And don't be blinded by all the bling and the lights and the camera and the action, especially in LA where it's smoke and mirrors, baby.
I'm not sure where this story was supposed
Detroit.
to. No, I know it was Detroit. Yeah. Obviously, the Tubi film capital of the world.
Seems like it, right?
The funny thing in you mentioning that is at the end when she's doing her prologue, because you haven't completed the film yet, but something very, very shocking happened to her. And again, this is based on a true life story that sparked from these relationships that she developed. But her words when she was, I guess, at a book signing, and she was reading chapters of her book, were exactly the message that you just laid out. So,
see there?
That's that Pisces
intuition. That's why I'll be getting
in.
caught up in some of this stuff out here, because I could spot a scam, baby. If it's too good to be true, I'll be asking like, who sent you? Because this you coming in the right package, the kind of stuff I like. You saying all the right things. Who sent you? This
you
is
think
too good
it's
to
a
be
distraction.
true. Oh, baby, it's a scam.
It's a scam.
I used to work for the feds. I know how they do it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They send them in the things that you like. She said that, social media, her message was social media has you looking for the baller and the shiny things and the superficial things, when you should, maybe consider just being happy with your mechanic guy.
Yes.
Or something like that.
The normal, everyday person who just does Grubhub.
Somebody will be happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially if they own their own home and it's just like they just need passive income.
Listen, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a scenario that will work for me, but it'll work for somebody. So yeah. I implore them to take it up, and so we're winding down. This was the after hour. The velvet ropes have come down. Trent, what's on your agenda for the week? What have you been up to?
Wow. So I had a little injury this week, so I got taken by the paparazzi on Monday. I'm here on Wednesday, and then tomorrow I'm going to a comedy show to see Norm Nixon Jr.
Okay, we love Norm Nixon Jr.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. If you guys haven't checked him out, you should. He is the son of Norm Nixon, former NBA player. His oldest son, Devon, plays him on Winning Time, the HBO Max. I'm saying HBO because it comes on HBO, but the streaming portion is Max. I'm not saying them together, even though that should still be the name. That's another topic. But Norm Nixon Jr. is his younger son of Debbie Allen and Norm, and he's a comedian. He's been on the Miss Pat show, a couple other things.
Grey's Anatomy.
Really funny guy. So
Hilarious.
You're going to check out his comedy stylings. I really appreciate his comedy because it's different because he's a Nepo baby. He's a Hollywood kid. And he
talks about that in his comedy act.
Yeah, he does.
It's very funny.
And I think that it is interesting and something that we love and enjoy to check out. So
he has a show tomorrow at the Adults Only Bar in Hollywood, 8:00.
And it's not just him. It is
him. It's billed as Norm Nixon and Friends. So he's got Norm Nixon and the Homies. Excuse me.
And the Homies.
I have to pull it up. James Davis, Denny Love, Mike Murphy, and CP. I think most people might be familiar with the James Davis name. Yeah. He had a show on Comedy Central.
He did. So shout out to them, taking it in. And what Tubi movie are we going to watch for next week? Let me hit you with the list of suggestions that we've been given. So there is He Played Me Part 2. Don't know if we need to do that.
I think I might be up late like Homeboy was last week watching it because I need to know what happens.
Okay, there's also No Disrespect, Escaping Paradise, Alarmed.
What is No Disrespect about?
Listen, you know what I do with these? I don't necessarily always look up the premise. I don't know what it's going to be about until I hit play. And I just figure out the story. Except for Hoochie Daddies. That one I looked up.
Oh, Hoochie Daddies. Wow.
So,
I did not circle back to that.
Neither did I. There is
Pretty Brown Mimi did, I think.
There's Threat Next Door.
Oh.
Gridiron Grind. And Meet the Killer Parents. So those are some of the suggestions that we've gotten. Which one of those sounds appealing to you?
Wow. Killer Parents and the people, the Drama Next Door, No Disrespect, they all sound so juicy and salacious. Which one do you pick? I don't know.
1, 2, or 3. You got to pick one.
I like the Drama Next Door because there's always some type of psychotic neighbor in the wings.
The Threat Next Door.
The Threat Next Door. That sounds intense.
Okay, so next week we will be talking about The Threat Next Door for our Tubi movie review.
Put that on my list right now.
Add it to your list. So that is all of our topics for tonight on RSVP with Jill Munroe. We hope that you have had an amazing time. And what we implore, what we ask of you is that you enjoy what you're hearing here. You like it. You're VIP, of course. Share your access. Share it with a friend. Let them know that you checked out RSVP with Jill Munroe and you enjoyed it. Trent the Artist, tell them where they can find you.
At Trent the Artist. Just like it sounds. Trent the Artist.
All right. And I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. You have been locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward on the other side, you will be checking out the best of KBLA. I'm Jill Munroe. Thank you for locking in, VIPs. Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for having me.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black